Hello, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome to the second day of National Graduate Week. National Graduate Week is brought to you by CareerMap. My name is Heather Reynolds. I'm an account director at CareerMap and I am the head of National Graduate Week, and I'll be your host today. This afternoon, we are joined by Arden University, who'll be talking all things Arden. The team will introduce themselves shortly, but we'll be meeting with Susie, Caroline, Sam, Laura and Molly. Just a little bit of housekeeping here. This session is going to be recorded, so it will be available on demand on the National Graduate Week website in a week or so. So there's a lot of videos to go live, so bear with. Probably going to be the week after next, but all of the information will be available to see again. If you do want to screenshot anything in the meantime, though, feel free, and please ask any questions that you want in the chat box. So what will happen is all the questions will be collated whilst the presentation is ongoing, and then we will be asking the presenters the Q&As, and hopefully they'll be able to give you all the answers to all of your questions. So from here on, I would like to ask the presenters to just turn their cameras and microphones on and say hello.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
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 Thank you to everyone who's joined us today. Should we go in order of how we appear on screen? That might make sense, shouldn't it? So no pressure. Over to you, Susie.
Yes, me. Hi, Susie Mitchell. Delighted to be here talking all today. I am the Director of Student Experience at Arden, so looking at everything from a student services, student support perspective that can really work closely with academic and other teams across the university to remove any potential barriers that might be preventing students from being really successful in their studies. Next, shall I hand over? Shall I do a seamless
Caroline, is your microphone on? Can you introduce yourself?
Hi there, I'm Caroline Toland. I'm Head of Careers and Employability at Arden. We're all here at Arden interested in your employability and helping you be successful in your future career, but I lead the team that deliver a lot of that activity. Wonderful.
Sam?
Hi, I'm Sam Smith. I'm Head of Student Recruitment here at Arden University. So myself and my team look after our UK applicants, and we take you through the whole application process right up until you becoming a student.
Wonderful. Laura?
Hi, I'm Laura Pearson. I'm a student with Arden, currently studying my BA in Criminology and Psychology. I'm also a single mum, and I have a neurological condition which makes things a bit tough sometimes, but I suppose I'm proof that you can do it if you really want to.
And Molly?
Thank you. I'm Molly Hunt, so I'm one of the marketing executives at Arden. So my role is looking after a lot of the internal student communications and emails, and also some of the webinars like this one. So thank you again for joining us today.
Lovely. Right then, guys, I'm going to disappear off now and let you carry on with your presentation. When everything's finished, I'll be popping up and I'll have all of the questions for you. Okay, guys?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. So I'll make a start with sort of our overview of Arden, and let you know a little bit about us before we move into sort of the more formal overview of Arden University, really. So this is a very, very brief overview of who we are and what we do. So at Arden, we believe that everyone everywhere has a right to higher education. And that might sound like quite an obvious thing that you would hope that most universities would, except we really value the barriers that might be stopping you from progressing in your education and also your career. So Arden University is global, despite us being based in the UK. So we have students from all over the world who can study with us. They can study with us in person at our study centres. So we've got 3 in London, we've got 1 in Birmingham, 2 in Manchester, 1 in Leeds and 1 in Berlin as well. Whether people are concerned about finances, Because our courses are predominantly taught online or at our study centres, they're slightly different in cost to a more mainstream and traditional university might be. And we also have things like payment plans, as well as the student loans company that can support you as well. Because the courses are online, as I've just sort of said, they're very, very flexible to fit around you and your life. So if you work full time, if you have a family like Laura does, if you have any other commitments, it's an ideal way to continue your studies, but fit that around your lifestyle and your other commitments. And also we like to really encourage people. If people don't believe they can do it, you know, we're here to show you that you can. Susie will talk a little bit later about all of the support that we have in place for our students. There's lots of people here that all have sort of your best interest at heart and want you to do well. So there's lots and lots of support available to any of our students in lots of different ways. You can also study part-time with us as well as full-time. So there's a lot of flexibility there in terms of how much time you will have to commit to your course, meaning that you can be flexible, you can put your studies on hold if you want to and pick it back up if something comes up. So it's an ideal way to continue your education while you're also moving into your career and taking your next steps there as well. So just a couple of stats about Arden. So 95% of our graduates have said they were satisfied with our learning experience, and 90% of them have also said that their career possibilities were enhanced by studying with us as well. So some really nice statistics there and some really positive numbers from our students, letting us know that, you know, we're helping them out and we're doing the job that we've set out to do. So I'm going to hand over to Susie, who will talk to you a little bit more about our student experience at Arden. Thanks, Susie.
No problem. Thanks, Molly. I think I've got the controls, so happy to move this on. I think we all have to touch on the post-pandemic and what this means for employment, industry, education, and what opportunities we can take from this experience and turn it into a real positive one. I think it's fair to say that at the moment the landscape in terms of job opportunities in the post-pandemic world is a little bit different. It's a challenge for majority of people trying to ensure that they keep on track with their career aspirations, whilst also navigating this little bit bizarre world that we're currently in at the moment. There's many reasons why you, me, our fellow student Laura decides to continue on with their studies. It's mainly around what we want to do in terms of our career and job opportunities. Obviously, a qualification, particularly a postgraduate qualification, can give you that extra little ring on the ladder. But what I genuinely do think is it's far more than just having your qualification on your CV. It actually shows so many life skills in terms of what you've accomplished in order to be able to achieve that qualification. So I'm really keen to stress that. Might seem very obvious, but stress that to everyone on this call, that it's not just the qualification itself, it's the whole journey of what you go through and what you learn from start to end as part of it. I'll touch on our postgraduate courses. So there's typically two titles of postgraduate qualifications, an MA or an MSc. We also actually offer MBAs, so the full rounding of postgraduate qualifications there. And obviously, as Caroline mentioned, we also now have a recently established career service that can really talk to you as a student based on your current qualifications or your current experience, what route you want to go down, which postgrad qualification would be best suited to you, aligned to the subject area, and also guide you through that to ensure that your qualification is aligned to your aspirations in terms of the working world. Teaching and learning. So what do we do at Arden? So very obvious, as Molly's just said and touched on there, we do like to do things differently. Obviously, if we recognise that education should be available for all, we need to identify that learners and students and different people from different backgrounds and life experiences need to study differently. So we like to think that we are very flexible in terms of our options to study, but also creating the really important parameters and support network to guide you through it. So I think it's really, really crucial that you have flexibility. As Molly said, if you do need to pause or adjust your studies or assess what's happening in your life at that moment, which is great, but you also need that fundamental infrastructure of support to guide you through it effectively. We have an online learning system, a virtual learning environment for the technical minded amongst us called iLearn. And iLearn is basically students' one-stop shop of academic information. So that's where all the academic team put all of their content. So that might be the learning materials, it could be the assessment, it would be videos, guidance, quizzes, forum, so you can ask questions and engage with peers and academics. And that is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you just finished a gym session and you've got home and cooked your dinner and it's 10 p.m. and you think, actually, I'm just going to have a quick scan of that video that my lecturer recommended that I read, or you just put the kids to bed and you've got a quiet half an hour, just sort of relaxing on your own, then it's there, it's available to you, and you can access that learning platform at that time. I think it's really important to say that this does not impact in any way in the quality of your qualification. So obviously it goes without saying that all our qualifications, we are a registered UK university, are exactly the same as any other university where you would attend a little bit differently, maybe face-to-face timetable sessions. All registered the same way as every other university. We have the same regulator, so the quality of standard is the same expectations. And we provide everything for you from that end-to-end student journey within the iLearn predominantly space. Okay. How you learn. So I have touched on this. So it's probably useful if I sort of give a little bit of background on our current students. So students get access to iLearn from the moment that they enrol, and they also get a dedicated what we call success coach. And that success coach works with the student from the moment they get access to iLearn, they enrol, they get their logins, etc., talking through their various backgrounds and how they came on to study and what they want to get out of their studies, and then work with that student in terms of removing any barriers, obstacles, issues that prevent them from being successful in their studies. The ultimate goal is that the success coach works alongside and enables the student to engage with their learning materials, submit on time, get that pass grade that they deserve, and ultimately graduate. So they can really focus purely on the academic side of things with their coach taking care of everything else in the background there. Also to note as well in terms of engaging with peers. So as mentioned, iLearn obviously has access to all students that are within your course. Excuse me. So you can send messages to each other about the content that's on iLearn. You can send messages to your lecturer and ask them questions about anything you've seen or read and want to get further clarification on. But we also have this student voice platform called Unity. And this is every single student at Arden, so not just those that are particularly on your course like iLearn has. It will be all students that you can engage with. Student reps, so our student representatives that are elected each year and represent the various courses and modes of study across Arden. So they'll be working with groups of students, gathering their feedback on certain topics and issues, and then feeding this into this platform called Unity. Students can talk to their reps on this platform. They can talk to what we call Unity champions that are across Arden, so can pick up questions on academic skills, as we've mentioned here about academic skills tutors, pick up questions on in terms of finance. It might be timetable, it might be module content, it could be anything. This Unity is very much a one-stop shop of interaction that all students and Unity champions have access to. How we fit around your life. So again, we keep throwing this word flexible around. So if you study online with us, there are no set timetables. So you don't have to log on at 9 a.m. on a Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday morning and listen to an academic talk to you about content. All the content will be there. We do have live sessions that students can join for the duration of a module. And obviously those sessions are staggered throughout the whole module. They take place in the morning, they take place in the evening, they take place, in the afternoon. There's some weekend sessions, and they're also recorded. So that if you can't make them for whatever reason, you can log on when you can, when you have a minute and you're sitting down, parking the rest of the life that's happening. You can look at those as a recorded session. I think it's really useful, actually. It's something that I didn't have when I was studying a postgraduate qualification. Also similar to Laura, I've got a little one as well, was working full time. I would have jumped up and down to have this option of being able to study around my own schedule, which probably changed on a day-to-day basis, as it does when working full time and your peaks in your workload there with children, with life commitments, caring commitments. So I think we all recognise it does take time. You do need to focus on it, but actually, if you have this variety and flexibility of how you engage with it around your own needs and requirements, it's just that added extra. It's just that little boost that actually you think, actually, I construct this around my individual life, which is really unique, actually, in terms of study and at any university. And just to add as well, we also run multiple workshops that are led by the success coaches I meant, academic skills tutors. So those are just hints, don't forget, little prompts and how to structure workload against other commitments, just, great little handy hints, and let's talk to other students and how they've managed to do it, and let's give you our expertise and how we do it around resilience, time management, and just ensuring that your commitment is taken into account of your whole life picture, really. Student support. So I've worked, and the team have worked really hard in focusing some improvements in the student support team, recognising the post-pandemic, recognising the great growth that we're going through at the moment at Arden University, and recognising that students have different needs and requirements in order to be successful in their studies. And a key unique role of this is the success coaches and the wider student support team. Really proud of what they do for our students. And again, it's that seamless support. So you don't really know that you're getting it. They're almost there in the background, working with you, resolving your queries, resolving any issues that you've got, signposting to different areas if we need to get other expertise in, basically sort of removing all the hurdles that might drop in front of you in order for you to keep on track and be really successful in your studies. And it's really important to say that just because you might be a mature student, or you're doing a postgraduate, or you've been in education for a fair amount of time previously, it doesn't matter that you might not need that level of support. It varies from person to person. So it's there. If you need it and want it, the support is there to all students. If you don't and you're sort of ticking away, then it's good to know that it's sort of sat there in the background, waiting for you to tap into it if you do need it. So just to kind of give a follow on from the workshops and support and structure events that we offer in this space. Really important to know that these are available online. So again, they're pre-recorded. So if you can't, not pre-recorded, they're recorded. So if you can't make the live session where this has taken place, you can always get access to the recording of it afterwards. They're all free, and they run multiple times throughout your studies. So if actually you've attended one on critical thinking at the beginning of your studies, and actually you're getting to maybe sort of a particular tricky module, or even your dissertation stage, and you know what, I'd like to kind of go back to that, then they're running over and over again throughout your duration, so you can always pick that up. The recordings are also stored within our virtual learning environment, iLearn, so you can go and tap into those as often as you need to. So just I won't read them all out, just a little snippet there of some of the samples of activities and workshops that we run once you're a student with us at Arden. That's me. Hopefully that was informative. Really happy to answer any questions that you might have. So do please sort of get thinking, and if anything that I've said has triggered a question, more than happy to answer that at the end. I will now hand over to Caroline.
So the careers and employability support is absolutely essential. You're obviously here to think about further study and how that's going to work for you in terms of your personal life, how you work and where it takes you. And we're here to really help you achieve those goals. So here we have the team. I've got a small but great team who are all here and keen to work with you all to make sure that you have the success you want at the end of your programs or during your programs. And we see people that get successful partway through the program, seek promotions, have other opportunities during their degree as well. One of the things I think is great about Arden is every single person at Arden is here to think about how do we help you with your employability skills and make sure that you can be the most successful you want to be. So you'll get access to employability skills throughout your degree programs. Your academics will talk to you about it, and we're here to help through the careers and employability team. Some of you may take a course and think it's going to go in this direction, but you might want to also think about other opportunities, and we're here to help you discover those different career opportunities that are available to you. What other things might you think about that are exciting that you hadn't considered? And we'll do that through career fairs, opportunities to speak to employers, whether that's embedded in your degree or outside of it, and opportunities to explore other ideas, which hopefully will help to inspire you and think about what else you could do. There's opportunities to get personalised support, because we realise that great careers advice that is available out there throughout things like our career portal, which are available 24/7. Sometimes actually getting that individual advice is really important. And so we have a team, as you've just seen here, to help you make the most of it, what you want to do. And that's not just about the bit at the end about moving on and getting the job, but it might be, I need to talk through my options, or I want to get some work experience. How do I go about that? We are here to really make that come alive for you and support you in the processes you're going through. So whatever you're doing, whatever that might be, we're here to help. And as I said, the career portal is available 24/7. So that's where you can sign up for events, and we will be doing events kind of lunchtimes in the. But if you need more flexibility, so my headphones have just turned off. It's not helpful. Hopefully, yes, I've just my headphones have just clicked out again. Sorry about that, guys. Technical issues, gremlins. So whatever you need 24/7, there is careers resources available to you on our careers portal, whether that's for accessing recordings of workshops, whether that's tapping into advice articles. We're here for you, whatever that might be. The other thing that's really great about Arden is we offer professional recognition of the courses that you're going through. So as you can see in front of you, we work with a number of professional bodies to accredit our courses, but also then you have access to those professional bodies during your studies. So opportunities to network with other members in those professional areas are a huge benefit in terms of making connections for work experience or for looking for opportunities afterwards, but also tapping into their professional development resources. So whatever stage of your career you are, there's some really useful stuff out there that we would encourage you to tap into. And as we talked about, you moving on to the jobs and opportunities that you want to get and being successful in your career is really important to us. And
Caroline, your headset's gone strange again.
Yeah, it's flickering in and out. Sorry about this, guys. So just want to talk about the progression opportunities and the where you can go to. So this is really about what you can get out of these courses. So going to postgraduate study will help increase your level of specialist knowledge, which will open up new opportunities to you. It really also can help you, if you're in your current role, increase the level of responsibility you've got and shorten your track to promotion. So there are real opportunities through that. In addition to that, it's helping you build transferable skills, thinking about critical and lateral thinking, problem solving, your enthusiasm for a topic. There are all sorts of things that you can add to your skill set too through doing a qualification. And it's also an extra dimension to your work. So even if you're moving to one area to another or looking to just progress within your own path, there are real opportunities there. And also if you're changing direction, so it might be that you're progressing within your area or looking to do something different, new challenges can be opened up by doing postgraduate study. So it can be a gateway into looking at a new specialism, being reskilling, taking new different skills to your employer. So there are lots of opportunities, whether that's in healthcare or law and other areas that you might need a professional qualification. So lots of really great reasons for taking further study. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Sam, who hopefully won't have the telephone gremlins I have, and they'll talk about postgraduate courses available. Sam.
Hi, thanks, Caroline. So yes, what postgraduate courses do we have available here at Arden University? I'll leave this slide on for a little bit. I won't go into read out every single programme that we've got available, but I'll just give you a quick overview. In our Faculty of Business, we cover quite a number of areas which will sort of feed into the careers that we previously spoke about. So we've got the MBA there, which is the business administration. We also have courses that cover marketing, supply chain management, project management, engineering management, global health, and accounting and finance. So you can see we are covering quite a broad range of industries there with those courses in our Faculty of Business. We also have our School of Computing, where we have courses that relate to data analytics. Data's very big at the moment, as I'm sure you're all aware, but we have our data analytics courses with other areas as well. So for example, data analytics and finance, data analytics and HRM. So it's about data within those different sectors of business. And then we have our Faculty of Social Sciences as well, where we offer our psychology conversion degree. So this is for people who potentially want to go on and practice psychology, and we do have the BPS accreditation with that course, which is the necessary accreditation that will allow you to go on and do further study and potentially look at educational psychology or clinical psychology. And then we've got our MA in visual communication design management there. So as you can see, we do offer quite a broad range of postgraduate courses. So this might be one of the slides that you want to take a quick screenshot of, so you can have a look at later. But of course, all of the information about these courses is on our website as well. So our entry requirements and the application process. So standard entry requirements, much the same as any university for a postgraduate qualification, would be a UK honours degree at a minimum classification of a 2-2 or above. Or we can look at a non-standard entry. So this would be a minimum of 5 years managerial experience or professional work experience. So if somebody wants to study a master's qualification, but they haven't necessarily done their undergraduate degree, but they have got extensive experience, then we can look at those types of qualifications as well. Increasingly, the academic team are looking for a strong data background. So that can be evidenced in CV if you're not bringing the degree in with your entry requirements. The application process. So this is myself and my team. Once an application is submitted through our website, you will be assigned a dedicated student recruitment advisor. This advisor will work with you all the way through the application process, will help you with everything that you need to do to get your offer to study the programme. We will contact you by telephone. We have diary links that you can click on so you can schedule a call that's suitable for you, and we'll talk you through how the application process works. So we can advise you on the different modes of study, whether the course is right fit for you, and why you've chosen to study that particular course. It may be that there are other courses that we offer that may be more suitable once we've talked about, you know, how you want this to enhance your career. It might be that we will say, well, actually this course might be a better fit for you, so we can talk you all through that. We'll also help you with your funding options. So we touched on previously, there are student loans, postgraduate student loans available for these programs, but we also have flexible instalment options as well. So your advisor will help you and talk you through those, and really how we can secure an offer for the program. We can give you more in-depth information about the program details and the additional accreditations that it may hold, as Caroline touched on previously. We like to ensure that you're studying the program that's the right fit for you. So we want it to be, once you've graduated with your master's qualification, we want it to get you, you know, where you want to be in your career. So it will talk through how it can enhance your career, but also it might just be that you want to study a postgraduate qualification for self-satisfaction, but we can talk through all of the options, the different courses, and what is the best fit for you. So we'll also help you to understand what the documents are that we require to enable you to secure an offer. The document requirements will depend on the route that we're taking to try and get you that offer. So if it's through qualifications, it will be a copy of your degree certificate and your transcript. If it is an application based on work experience, then we would look for CVs and references. But again, your advisor will take you through all of the document requirements and help you put everything together to build a really strong application. Once you're ready to submit your application for review, we send it across to the admissions team, and we can normally get a decision in around 3 to 4 days. So it doesn't take very long to get a decision once that's been submitted. And what the advisors will do is they will help you build the strongest application that we can. So one of the requirements is a personal statement. Fairly sure most people would probably have done a personal statement to get onto their undergraduate degree, so you'd be familiar with those. But we'll just talk you through and build the strongest application that we can. While we're awaiting that decision from our admissions team, we can help you with the student loan application if you're applying for the postgraduate loan, or if it's a self-funding option, we can again talk through the instalments, how it works, what the next steps would be, so that once your decision does come back from the admissions team, we're good to go with moving everything along to the next stage. The offer gets sent directly from our admissions team. So you get an offer by email, you will have an official offer letter, offer pack, terms and conditions, and there'll be acceptance forms and registration forms all attached to your email. We'll give you a call to congratulate you on the good news, and we'll advise you of the next steps. So if you're wanting to accept your offer, it will be a case of returning your acceptance letters and your registration forms, and then we can go through the student funding, make sure that gets all approved, or explain how you would make your payment if you're a self-funder. Your advisor works with you every step of the way through the application process to ensure that it goes as smoothly as possible. We're very hands-on. It will probably be quite a different experience to what you had for undergraduate if you applied through UCAS. We really do pride ourselves in making the application process as smooth as possible and get your offer so that we can then congratulate you and just make sure that there's been no hiccups along the way and that we get you where you want to be. So I hope that was all useful, and now I'll hand over to Laura, one of our students.
Thank you very much. Hi, so my name's Laura Pearson, and as just been said, I am currently studying with Arden. I have done distance studying before with somebody else. I enjoy learning. However, in recent years, I've now become disabled with a neurological condition that has me not knowing from one day to the next how I'm going to be. Thankfully, today's a good day. I was a bit worried. I discovered Arden and kind of had a look, you know, was very dubious because I know how my illness can be. Also being a single mum, constantly running around after a 5-year-old, it's not easy. So I was incredibly worried. However, when I first sort of contacted Arden, my advisor was fantastic, Sian. She was absolutely fantastic, put my mind at rest, took me through everything. And I can honestly say, hand on my heart, it's been the best decision that I've made in years. I won't say it's incredibly easy because it's not. However, I'm a very stubborn person, and it has become added into my life, as it were. The fact that even the students, I have to put this in, because as marvelous as Arden are, I really didn't expect to have that kind of connection with other students. Being distance learning, you kind of think that you're kind of on your own and you do it in your own time and you do it on your own steam and you've got yourself, but you actually don't. I have a WhatsApp group with many other people. I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many there are now. I think we started off with about 20, 25 people, and it's obviously progressed now. Everyone's studying the same course, but they're at different stages, which is great because the people that are ahead of you can kind of give you that spurring on. Also got the people that have just recently started and they're panicking, thinking, how am I ever going to do this? And they have us to look at and say, well, actually, try this way, try this. And not having a purposeful timetable is the most brilliant plus for me personally. Obviously, this is all just my opinion, but not knowing from one day to the next, is my daughter going to be ill? Is she going to get sent home not well? Inset days, things like that, normal family commitments that we all have, whether we're single or not. It all plays a part. And I can honestly say it's just slot into my life absolutely perfectly. I do have to say, several months ago, I ended up in the hospital again with having to have another operation. And it did put me back. And I did panic, and I had an assignment due, and I was quite honestly freaking out, thinking, how am I ever going to do this? Having then spoke to Kieran, my tutor, absolutely, without a doubt, was fantastic. I made an appointment online with him so I could, do that around my time. And he really put my mind at rest. And even though I did defer that particular module, I felt so much better having done it because it was the best choice that I made for my study. I don't want to study and just put something in that's kind of not really great just to get it in. And he kind of made me realize, well, actually, I have that option. These things can't be helped. Things happen in life that put us back all the time. And it's just trying to find that way to deal with it. And had I not have had him to go to and say, I'm freaking out, help, I probably would have just put in some sort of half-hearted attempt at an assignment. And I would have been devastated if I had done that. So the support I have, just in general assignments and, family life, is incredible. As far as my disability goes, I don't know from one day to the next. So it's very difficult to understand how I'm going to be, how prepared I need to be. And so far, I do have to say the support I've had has been second to none. I've never had this kind of support before. having studied. I also studied for a small time in mainstream college, and never had that support. Never had that person that I could just email or ring or whatever and say, help, I'm having this issue. The actual the actual whole thing of Arden, including the careers portal, has been invaluable, has been absolutely invaluable for me. Trying to figure out what career I now want to move into. I've loved healthcare and I've enjoyed everything that I've ever done and studied and worked, and I do love it. However, I feel that I need more of a challenge, and having now spoken to several people in Arden, I know the route that I want to take, and it makes it much simpler, shall I say, for want of a better word, of deciding where I want to go and what I want to do. The workshops as well, I have to say, the workshops have been fantastic. I do panic a lot about plagiarism and things. I'm always convinced I'm going to do something wrong. And, even those workshops have been invaluable. I've done several of them more than once, just to make sure that I know spot on exactly what's what and how this all works. I'm quite a stickler for knowing everything. And it's been fantastic. It's built my confidence up. I'm very proud of how I've handled myself through this. It's very difficult sometimes, and absolutely it's a major juggling act. But without a doubt, when I look at myself in 5 years' time, I would have done all this. I'd have hopefully have done my master's. I'd have, come out of the other side, and I will have a marvelous story to tell my 5-year-old. And I think that's the whole thing. It's all about showing, for me, it's all about showing her that you can do whatever it is you want to do. No one ever said it was going to be easy, but people can make it easier. And I think that just speaks volumes with Arden. That's me.
Thank you so much, Laura. That was really great, and so lovely hearing that journey that you've been on again. I remember when we first spoke, I was so excited to hear all about your positive experience. So thank you again for sharing that. So that is the end of our formal presentation. So you'll see on the screen there are our contact details, so you can see all of our social media links on there. You can also see our YouTube page. So we've got lots of helpful videos on there that can tell you lots more about life at Arden. And then we've got the email address up at the top as well. So if you have any questions that you think of that come up after the session, feel free to send a message to that email address. That will come through to me, and I can pass that on to the best person in the team to help you. So we hope that you've found that helpful. I appreciate there's a lot to take in there, but we really welcome any questions that you've got.
Yeah, well, there's some great questions actually. There's a few which were covered in the session, but because there's been a few late joiners, I will ask them anyway, because I think that they're really useful to repeat, if nothing else. Right, so Jason asked if there's any help with costs.
Yep, I can take that one. So there is a postgraduate student loan available for all of our master's programs. The course, the fees that you can get in your postgraduate student loan will fully cover the cost of the course. The loan works slightly different to an undergraduate loan in the respect that it will go directly to the student. So upon enrolment, we request a holding fee, a deposit of £250. This enrolls you onto the programme. As soon as you start the course, your student loan would be confirmed, and you will start to receive your payments from the student loans company. So yeah, you can cover all of the costs with this postgraduate student loan if you're living in the UK.
Brilliant. Saskia has asked quite an interesting question. She said, what is the difference between you and the Open University?
Shall I take this one? Lots. I think it's fair to say, and I'll be very polite because obviously I respect all university institutions. You know, we're all here to help students. So the ethos and concept behind all universities is to say, you know, we want individuals to be successful in their qualifications to then better their life in somehow on the back of it. I think it's fair to say that the OU is still very structured as a traditional university, even though it's online. And by that, I mean, you know, your support, how you're taught, the size of the cohorts, how they interact on an individual basis for students is very much, in my view, and it is just my view, so, you know, I will put a caveat in there, catered for the masses, where I feel Arden is very good at identifying individual student needs and adapting where we can, aligned to our regulations and structure and iLearn and content ever, in order to tailor that support package for that student. So you're not just one of thousands and thousands and thousands of students that are enrolled at that institution. You're actually a Laura with an individual need and individual requirements that are individually supported along her journey to be successful. That is my view. We do offer courses online the same, so that is the similarity.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay then. So what are the deadlines to apply with you?
So we have 4 intakes per year. So they're January, April, July and October. So the deadline really does depend on the intake that you're applying for. But I would always say, you know, whatever intake you want to go for, just submit your application as soon as possible, because that enables us to get you through that process, that application process, much more smoothly, if we've got plenty of time to get it all in place before the course starts. If you were, you know, thinking of, say, for example, it's our October intake at the moment and the course starts in the last week in October, I would say the deadline probably would be sort of by the end of this week to submit an application, just so it gives us those week or so to get your application processed and get the student loan in place, or if you're funding yourself, get your funds in place. But we are very good in the student recruitment team with turning applications around really quickly when we need to. So, you know, if it's something that you're really keen to get on with and you want to get started straight away, definitely apply, even if it's very near to the next start date, because we are particularly good at turning applications around and making this happen for you.
Okay, brilliant. I've got them quite a few actually. So I've got another one here, says, is a master's from Arden recognised in the same way as a master's from a more traditional university? I assume that's because maybe people haven't heard historically of Arden.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's exactly the same in terms of recognition with industry, employers, other universities, regulators. It is no difference whatsoever.
Brilliant. Ron's just chipped in. He said, what do students think about blended learning? Can I find any student satisfaction information on your website? Yeah,
so blended learning is obviously another element that we offer. At the moment, we don't do postgraduate study within our UK blended learning centres. Postgraduate is just in Berlin. Obviously, applications welcome. It is an international programme. Students from all over the world attend that one. Good question about general feedback specifically to blended on the website. I'll certainly have a look. We do have a lot of feedback. We have our Uni 2, obviously, board that I mentioned in the presentation. We have student rep meetings. We have staff and student meetings. We have end of module surveys. We ask our students' opinion a lot and look to make improvements and continuously improve constantly. I will have a little look what's there around feedback for blended learning and see if we can I direct you to a plot of information. I'm not sure if you know, Molly, specifically.
I don't know about blended learning specifically, but we do have a really big hub on the website of lots of case studies and testimonials from students that are studying multiple programs and multiple places with lots of backgrounds. So if you want to sort of hear about feedback from our students, that's a really good place to look. Off the top of my head, I can't remember where it is, so I'm going to have a quick dig on the website and I'll pop the link to that page
Pop it in the chat if you want.
In the chat, yeah, if I pop it in the comments, is it all right?
Yeah,
Thanks,
what we
Molly.
can do, Molly, we can also add it to your profile on the Graduate Week website, so we can edit that in for anybody else who wants to go and have a look. Interesting that you just touched on Berlin then, because Jane said, does Arden have opportunities to study abroad as part of their postgraduate courses?
It's a really good question, actually, and it's a hot topic at the moment. So a proposal paper is actually working its way around the management team at Arden in terms of students doing exactly what, was it Jennifer's name's James? Jane, sorry, apologies, what my bad hearing. What Jane said in terms of students studying part of their course online and then having the option to do the remainder of their course at one of our study centres. It's not an active option at the moment, but obviously students do and can transfer modes once they start a programme, as long as it's running in that particular city centre that they want to join. So it is available at the moment, but we are looking to actively work through the details of that in terms of promoting it as an offering. So students start in a study centre, online, and then go to a study centre for the remainder of their qualification.
Brilliant, that's fantastic. Right, I think we can probably group this question into more of an overarching question. So specifically, I was asked, I haven't done a relevant undergraduate degree to psychology, but I want to do a psychology master's. Can I still apply? And I would say if we almost put psychology to the side for this, because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people who are here who are thinking, I haven't done anything remotely relevant to what I actually want to do. Or perhaps even if we could also talk about the fact that some people may not have got in their minds great grades at undergraduate level, does that impinge on what they can go and do at masters? So kind of a two-pronged question there.
Yeah, I can take that one. So no, your undergraduate degree does not have to be related to the masters that you want to go on for majority of our courses. Definitely psychology, you don't have to have an undergraduate in psychology to get onto that. We are looking for a minimum of a 2-2. So as long as you've got anything from a first, 2-1, 2-2, then you would be eligible for the master's qualification. If you do have a third class honours, we can still look at your application, because we could perhaps use a mixture of your undergraduate degree and your work experience as well. So it's still worth applying if you're not meeting the 2-2 requirement there. What was the other question? There was another part to that.
It was, can I do something that is completely different to my original subject at undergrad? And you've actually answered it. If I didn't get particularly great grades, if somebody personally thinks that, does it impinge their chances of study with you?
All right, good. Okay, yeah, covered that.
Is there a limit to how many students you allow on each course?
Shall we to jump into that one? No, so as it is structured, there's no limit to how many students are on a course, because the students are just formatted in terms of groups. So let's say there's 1,000 students that enroll on the postgrad psychology. That's always a really popular one. It's really interesting. We've already had a question on that one. They would just be grouped in terms of 25, 30 students in a particular cohort, and that's how it would be delivered. So we don't cap numbers from that perspective and say actually no more on this particular programme for this particular intake. Even if we did in the future, which we won't, as Sam mentioned, we have 4 intakes, and it's only a 12-week-ish period between the next intake, the one closing, and the next intake. So there's always multiple opportunities for students to join in an academic year.
Wonderful. We've got about 5 minutes to go. I think I can probably squeeze in two more questions. The first one was covered within the presentation, but like I said, we've had some people that have joined in partway through. So if you could just explain a little bit more about what support you give students after they leave. So can you tell them more about the career support side of things?
Yeah, so we're in the process of building our alumni support at the moment. So Arden's still fairly new, so we're still doing that. But we're looking to be able to provide support to graduates when they leave, and that might be through a mixture of the resources, the access to the career portal, or the careers resources available 24/7, or access to workshops and drop-in sessions with careers consultants. So there's always going to be some support available to students. In addition to that, I know we're looking to really enhance the networking with alumni, so to help people, again, get referrals or opportunities through the alumni network. So we're here to try and support you, whatever experience you're having kind of post-graduation, whether that's to further your professional network or to seeking opportunities.
Can I just quickly jump in there as well? So we are about to completely revamp and relaunch our alumni network. And that is in line with our virtual graduation that is taking place next month. So if you do follow us on social media or anything like that, in the next few weeks and months, you'll start to see all the really exciting alumni comms and opportunities popping up on there as well. So do keep an eye out for that, as we're really excited to get that rolling in the next few weeks.
Wonderful. Thanks, Molly. Right then, just a really quick question here. How long have you been operating for as a university?
Over 30 years now, and I've been here for 18 of those 30 years. So yeah, we've been around for a long time. We started in 1990, which happens to be the same year as I got married, so showing my age now. So yeah, we have been around a long time. We started off back in 1990 working with partner universities, and then 5, 6, 7 years ago, I don't know, the years are going so fast now, we became a university in our own right. I don't know if Susie wants to pick anything up about that.
Apologies, guys, my system did a little glitch then. Yeah, so just carrying on from what Sam said, really. So we've, for a vast number of years, and you've probably heard various names. So RDI was the name before Arden University. So when we became Arden University, again, yeah, it is 5, 6 years ago, we were awarded degree awarding powers. So basically means we can award qualifications in our own right to students. That's when we got the university title. So there's some trivia there. If you're called a university and that's in your title, you do have to be able to award degrees to its students. And most recently, last year, we've been awarded by the regulator, so the regulator that validates all universities, indefinite degree awarding powers, which means that we will not have that taken away from us. So great news. I think it just goes to show that the success that we've had in this space is recognised by our regulator, and actually they're confident that we can continue to do this for another 30 plus years, but not changing our name again. We'll be keeping Arden University from now on.
Brilliant. Okay, we've got about 2 minutes to go, maybe a little less. I do have a question for Laura. I think this will be a nice comment to end on. So I have a question here. It says, I'm nervous about returning to study and I feel I've lost my confidence. What tip/push can you give me to help me take the plunge?
Okay, the main thing I would say is to get in touch with Arden and speak to somebody personally. Actually speak to somebody rather than just send a message or an email. I think by talking to somebody, it makes it more personal. And I think you can you can get a rapport. I mean, this is what happened with me personally. I mean, this is just my experience. I had a great rapport with Sian. She was fantastic. Talked me through everything that I asked, and I asked an awful lot of her, I won't lie. And at the end of that very first phone call, I was like, oh, okay, I think I can do this. By the time that all my paperwork was through and I'd had the offer, I was raring to go. I didn't think for a split second that I couldn't do it. And I think the main reason for that was the confidence that she gave me, just by talking to her, just by going through all the fears that I had, all the worries, and with her coming back to me and saying, well, you know, if A happens, we can do B. And realizing that it's not actually as big a deal as it was in my head. And I think a lot of the time we make it a much bigger deal. So yeah, definitely the first thing, speak to somebody personally.
Brilliant. That is a lovely, lovely note to end on. Thank you. Right then, guys, our time is up. There's still over 800 people in the room, so thank you so much for being a part of this event. Thank you so much to the team. Here you've got your contact details. If there's any questions that you would think about after the event, go and speak to the team. Like I said, everything is on demand in a week or so. Just give us a bit of time to get that up and running. And there is the university profile within the Thinking About Postgraduate Studies section on the National Graduate Week website. But for now, it's goodbye from me. Thank you to the team. And yeah, hopefully see you for some more sessions this week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.